Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. More people depend on WGNS for local news that matters. We're your local news leader. News Radio WGNS. We click in with traffic, news, and weather bulletins anytime. Good Neighbor Talk is your 24/7 connection. WGNS, AM, FM, and online. You may think money problems are just impossible to fix. Get sound advice with Dave Ramsey 1 to 4 weekdays, followed by certified financial planner Jason Qualls at 4.
The Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department is going door to door asking for your help in the 2025 special census. The only information they will ask for is your street address, the number of residents living at that address, and their first and last names. That's it, and it only takes a couple of minutes to complete. Information gathered for the special census provides funds to improve our public safety division, and that benefits the entire community. You can also fill out the special census online at murfreesborocensus.com.
We're the Good Neighbor Network. FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro. FM 100.5 Smyrna. Audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzier, founder, executive director of First Shot. I welcome in, for the second time, it'll be a traditional, an annual thing after the Masters, my good friend Michael Osborne, to kind of really take us through it. Probably a lot of stuff that I didn't see that he saw. But welcome in, Michael.
I am not a tradition unlike any other, just so we get that clear.
You're going to become my tradition,
The
though.
Masters is tradition unlike any other, according to Jim Nance.
Well, it is. And it's amazing to me, Michael, how many people that aren't really golf enthusiasts watched it. I watched it all day Sunday, and you know I'm not a golf enthusiast. So
Gina
did too with me. So again, it's one of those things that it's like, to me, some other events like the Indy 500, like the Daytona. There are certain events that people that aren't fans of that watch.
Sure.
What makes what makes the Masters so unique to all the other golf tournaments?
So you can unpack that a couple ways, and Lord knows if we're going to talk about the Masters, there's so much to unpack from yesterday. I'm still tired. I'm still just trying to figure it out. But you have now only... The Masters has its own special place because Bobby Jones, who was arguably one of the greatest golfers of all time, never turned pro, was always an amateur. He built that golf course. That's his golf course, his vision, his people. If you've watched the movies, it's his homage to St. Andrews. It's all these things. So, but it's always been extraordinarily special because it's purely by invitation only. So you either have pre-qualification that you were in. They've opened that up a little bit. So now it's like the top 50 players in the world automatically get in. And if you've won an event on the PGA Tour in the previous year, you automatically get in. But then they still hold that magic card where they get to send you invitations. And unlike other golf tournaments, they actually still mail out invitations to each player that plays in that event and kindly asks for an RSVP for whether they're going to make it to play in the event or not. And they do have to do that somewhat because you've got some of the older guys, because once you win a Masters, you always are in the Masters. So you have like Bernard Longer. This was his last Masters, last competitive Masters. He'll still go to the par 3 tournament, go to the Champions Dinner. But when they send him, he's still going to get an invitation for the Masters going forward every year. But he'll have to RSVP his intentions.
You know what would be interesting if they save those invitations? I would not.
There's a collection.
I would think there would be a collection from these guys.
There's some scrapbooking going on.
Because I think that book would be priceless.
There's some pretty cool scrapbooking going on. I've had the opportunity to sit with one or two people who. I had dinner with one pretty significant player that been at the Masters a lot, and that was Billy Casper. From our history, like my uncle was the golf pro at San Diego Country Club. Well, that was where Billy Casper grew up, played golf, still had a locker, still was there. And little quick side story. So I'm there. I'm just out there on vacation playing golf, doing this, doing that. And my uncle's like, man, I got to go to a board meeting. I forgot all about this board meeting. And he's like, just hang out up here in the lobby and I'll be back in 30 minutes. I just got to go give him a report on state of the golf department. Okay, cool. And I'm just sitting there, and this cute little old couple sitting right across from me, and he looks across at me and goes, son, I don't recognize you. You new here? I said, no, sir. I said, John's my uncle. He goes, oh, we love John. He's such a good dude. You know, he's been such a great head pro and whatnot. And he's like, well, if you're just sitting here, why don't you come have dinner with us? And I'm like, sir, I really appreciate the offer, but I don't know that I should necessarily do that. And so about that time, Uncle starts walking back up. And he looks over and goes, John, hey, John, you and your nephew come have dinner with us. And he said, well, yes, sir, Mr. Casper, we'd love to do that. And about that moment, you have that aha. I mean, and
you put the face.
Yeah, and this was like I was out there in like January. I think it was around my 40th birthday when I took that trip then. So his son was there, we were there, and they were talking about the preparations for renting a house and the things that went into Billy going to the Masters yet again for the Champions Dinner for those things, because he won a Masters. It was just kind of an interesting, fun sit at the table.
Well, you know, it's amazing to me, and you and I, talk a bunch of just how different the golf athlete is compared to other athletes. Because, every year I have a sneaker ball dinner, and you've been a part of it the whole time I've been running First Shot, which I appreciate greatly, Michael. And you run my golf tournament that's coming up at the end of the month. And
are we plugging that like real fast while we're here?
You can do that.
Okay.
Because we only have 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon left.
Well, we may not have that. I talked to David, so we'll get back to that. But yeah, so we're April 28th. We're at Old Fort. God, is this 17 years?
Michael, it might be longer. 18.
Something like that. 17, 18 years. I know we've been doing the dinner longer than the golf, but it hasn't been that much longer. 17 or 18 years. Double shotguns, because I finally convinced you that we could do it twice. 8:30 and 2 o'clock, and let the party begin.
And if you want more information, you can call me at 615-631-5312. But let's get back. You get this invitation. You have to respond to it. See,
yes.
That I never knew that, Michael.
Yes.
And I've been watching the Masters now a bunch. So, again, you respond. You're going to the Masters, and you just said, man, you got to get it. all the preparation that goes into getting just to a tournament. It doesn't, but the Masters is now a little bit more special.
Correct.
You got to rent a house for your entourage, your family, right? It's a little more than what people think. Because now everybody brings their family because of the par 3.
A lot of them bring more family than they usually do. Because there's a lot of guys that still travel with husband, wife, kids. You know, the immediate family. The immediate family, that group is going. The Masters is different because now you got my parents, her parents. You got, again, most of the big names, their managers are taking care of
all of that.
Most of that.
Yeah.
They're
calling and checking in and said, "What are your needs?"
Send me an address and a code to the Airbnb that I'm staying in this week because I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah,
that's what most of them are doing. Then a few of them, the wives handle that. But there's only X number of places you can stay in Augusta. Augusta is not big. Let's clarify. We're not talking about New York City. We're not talking about Nashville, Tennessee. We're talking about Augusta, Georgia, which is probably maybe not as big as Murfreesboro.
Probably not.
In the grand scheme of this, it's definitely not as developed as Murfreesboro. So, not a whole lot of extra places to stay down there.
So, Michael, they get there. The week's different because, a normal week they're playing in a pro-am. They're doing something different. This becomes really more of a family.
Yes.
That your family can embrace.
For them, this has got to be their most favorite tournament because they don't have to play in pro-ams. And for the me's of the world and for the rank amateur that likes to pay his $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 entry fee for one day to play with a pro, that's all going to charity. It all goes to the right spot. But it's the 1 week out of the year that these guys do not have to worry about having to play in a pro-am and take
with
time
people
out of
they don't know.
With people they don't know and or may not like. So now they're just chilling with their buds, chilling with the family. They're getting an extra family day in, especially if they go play the par 3, because you and I sat and watched some of that, and that's
fun to me.
It is. I mean, you got your kid. We're going to unpack the Rory thing here in real quick here, but you got his daughter on 9, and you got Shane Lowry there saying, "Here, Poppy, put it right over here. Put it to this spot over here," and she hits that putt, and Shane. Not Rory, but his boy Shane is literally chasing the ball down, and as it's going into the hole. And so she made birdie on. Rory didn't make birdie on 9 at par 3. Poppy did.
So I look at this tournament. You have you Justin Rose. This to me, I know he's not one of your favorite players, but here's a guy that's been relatively quiet.
Yeah.
And really, really had a marvelous Sunday.
He did. So let me clarify that. There's different levels of, like, I don't like Patrick Reed. I could say very bad things if we're not on the air about Patrick Reed. So that's that. My Justin Rose thing, I think Justin Rose and his wife Katie, they're both phenomenal people. They're both great with charities in the areas where they live, both in Florida and back in England and things. There's nothing wrong with Justin Rose. He has no charisma. He has no.
He's pretty stoic.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no. It's hard to root for him because he doesn't give you anything. Like, I can sit here and we've got these webcams on, and it's like, I made birdie. I made a bogey. I made an eagle. I'm leading the Masters. And Andy's looking at me. My facial expression has not changed. It's just flat. And it doesn't matter what has happened. And, his crowd interactions and just him in general, it's just, it's too stoic, and it's not exciting enough. But fantastic Sunday. I mean, so, all right, we're going to unpack this. All right. So, of all the things, guess what I was doing while the Masters was going on all yesterday afternoon?
Well, you're golfing. That's what most golfers do on a Sunday that beautiful.
Actually, yeah, Sunday that beautiful. But I can tell you, I can count in the last decade the number of times I've actually physically been on the golf course on Sunday when the Masters was on TV and it was worth watching, and it's one time, and that was yesterday. I mean, normally I'll try to squeeze something in the morning if I'm going to do that. A little different scenario. Some friends from out of town were in. Kind of had to do what I had to do. But we're sitting there. I mean, I am full iPad Pro, wedged into the golf cart, Bluetooth to a speaker, being fed internet from my phone so that we didn't miss a shot the entire time we're playing golf yesterday afternoon. So I can unpack this only because Andy told me I was going to do radio with him today, and I am literally going to sit here and unpack this thing. And I told my guys, I said, we're going to play golf, but I've got to watch this because we're going to talk about this.
Well, let's talk about the whole tournament. A 4-day tournament, Michael, is their norm.
Yeah.
But it's for the average person. That's a grind. 4 days playing, which if you've never been to Augusta, the TV doesn't do it justice.
No.
To walk that course for 4 straight days,
correct,
it is a little more daunting than what the casual eye sees.
Well, there's so much elevation change that television does not
capture.
And you can't. I mean, in today's world, and Augusta won't do it, I don't think, because they just haven't completely bought into allowing drones on their property because they protect their airspace. That's another one. I'm coming back to that. So they highly protect that airspace. So if they really, 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 really wanted to give people that depth and perception, you could set drones to start on the tee box and take the contour and, preset it to fly 200 feet above ground level and just let it go. And you would see, because one is downhill, uphill. 2 is all the way back down the hill. Then you get to 3 and 4, both of them kind of going back up the hill again. I get lost in 4, 5, and 6 because they're the least shown on TV. But then you get around to 8. 8 is up the hill, but it's a reachable par 5. And then 9 goes straight down the hill and straight back up the hill. Then you get to 10, and 10's where it's the most bizarre. Like, I've been there and it was wet, and I'm like, there are parts of that where I'm walking kind of sidestep down from 10T going towards 10 green because it was a little muddy. It's been raining. And if you stepped wrong, you were slipping, and it might as well be a slip and slide, like almost like a water slide where you could hit it and just skate all the way to the bottom because it's that much drop. I mean, there's probably parts of that are at least 45 degrees.
Well, so looking at where's the difficult? Like, Rory has a difficult stress every year at that tournament, and there's certain holes he does not play well.
Rory can have Rory's had a mental block until yesterday, and he tried it again yesterday, but you can mental block any hole out there because he went out there on Saturday and hit a 330 some odd yard drive and hit this little wedge in there and makes a putt for birdie on Saturday. Sunday, he hits it in the bunker, splashes it out, hits it short, 3-putts it for double. So it's not a hole. It's that tournament.
Okay.
Because it's in his head. So let's unpack it. Let me unpack the whole thing. So my opinion is Rory did exactly what he had to do to win that golf tournament yesterday. Everybody can argue about it. There's going to be 100 people. If we turned on the phones, people will call, he screwed the pooch. No. Rory started out at 12 under par yesterday. I'm going to unpack this slowly. We're going to get there. So he started at 12 under par yesterday. Everybody else behind him, their job was to catch him and or beat him. His job was to stay in front of the pack. Whatever that takes. Doesn't matter how many holes it takes. It's the Tiger version. So if they start to run up on me or if I make a mistake, I've got to turn the jet back on and go get a couple more so that I've got some room in here so that they constantly have to keep chasing me. We did that. So he starts out, he makes double on one. Bryson makes a par. Now they're tied. Right out of the gate. We went from 2-shot lead, tied. Now Bryson birdies 2 and Rory hits another bad tee shot. So now we're back to... Now Bryson's actually taking the lead, which Rory doesn't want to see, but that's what happened. And that's the last time... That is the last time that Rory was not at least partially tied for the lead in the last round. So after number 2, the conversation goes back to what I said. He has the lead. He wants to maintain the lead. And everybody's got to come catch him. So he birdies 3, he birdies 4. He gets the 1-shot lead back. And... we can talk about all of it. We get down into the end of this thing. I mean, he birdies 10, which never happens. Then we get into the shot. The shot that got me, because he's got a 4-shot lead going into 13.
It's his next double bogey.
Yeah. He got a 4-shot lead going into 13. And I don't know what happened. Like, I'm off hitting a shot at, we'll name the golf course. I was at West Haven over in Franklin yesterday. It's on the other side of Franklin. Great golf course, fantastic host, great people. We had a great time yesterday. Private club in the middle of the subdivision. Kind of like the Grove, but farther over. I'm off hitting a shot, and I had to come back to watch a replay twice. And I still don't know what he did. Because he's only got and everybody can tell me I don't remember, but he only had 50 or 60 yards left. He laid up, decent tee shot, did the smart thing, laid up to a number, and all he's got to do is hit it anywhere left of the flag stick, 2-putt it, make par, maintain his 4-shot lead, and move on.
Well, we're going to come back and keep unpacking the Masters with Michael Osborne.
The GNS in our call stands for Good Neighbor Station. That's been our objective since 1947. Now more than ever, count on WGNS.
The Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department is going door to door asking for your help in the 2025 special census. The only information they will ask for is your street address, the number of residents living at that address, and their first and last names. That's it, and it only takes a couple of minutes to complete. Information gathered for the special census provides funds to improve our public safety division, and that benefits the entire community. You can also fill out the special census online at murfreesborocensus.com.
First Shot, growing in Christ with life and athletic skills.
So we teach God's Word at everything we do to implant it in them so that they understand that the only way to get through the world is with God on their side.
First Shot founder and executive director Andy Herzer.
Our focus is on our inner city here at Patterson Park.
From academics to athletics, First Shot's focus is toward building a stronger, more courageous spirit to face opportunities and obstacles that our youth confront every day. To find out more about First Shot, go to firstshottn.org.
Murfreesboro firefighters are going door to door to ensure that everyone is counted in the special census. Every resident means more funding for roads, schools, and emergency services, up to $3.5 million more each year. So don't wait. Fill out the mailer you received or visit murfreesborocensus.com. That's murfreesborocensus.com. Every name matters, including yours. Help us help Murfreesboro. Fill out your special census form today. murfreesborocensus.com.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. That helps our economy. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Please give the gift of life. Phone the Red Cross at 800-RED-CROSS and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Just about time for the farmers market to begin. Rutherford County's Producers Only Market gets underway on Friday, May the 9th, and continues through October the 31st. That's over at the Lane Agri Park, 315 John R. Rice Boulevard. We remember you. It's a support group for caregivers of dementia and Alzheimer's. And We Remember You meets on the second Tuesday afternoons of each month at 4 o'clock over at the Villages of Murfreesboro. And again, this is for the caregivers of persons with Alzheimer's and dementia. The Middle Tennessee American Muscle Car Show is coming up Saturday, May the 10th at the VA Hospital, and the show benefits veterans. Oh, and the Heart Walk is May the 17th at Gateway Island. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Skies become mostly sunny this afternoon, high in the mid-80s. Tonight, chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy, low near 52. Tuesday becoming sunny, high 66. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 7.
Middle Tennessee Electric presents the Rutherford County 24th Annual Earth Day celebration April 26th, 10 to 2 on the Murfreesboro Square. They'll provide free hot dogs and popcorn and the electric griddle food truck serving up those gourmet grilled cheese. Free fun for the whole family April 26th on the Square.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable and WGNS. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot. My longtime friend Michael Osborne in with me, unpacking the uncommon Sunday. So we're
on the shot on 13.
That his second double bogey. My
his,
question to you, Michael.
And his fourth of the week.
So that would be my question. How many people have won the Masters with 4 double bogeys?
One guy. You just saw it. So, and they did. They threw that stat. CBS, God love them. I mean, I'd never want to be a statistician for these, looking for these obscure stats. Like, I mean, we're talking about way obscure. Like, where did you come up with that? So, they actually came up with the stat that no player ever had 4 double bogeys in a week and won the Masters. Never. It never happened. And so I'm playing with some guys, and me and one of the other guys we're more golf nuts than the other two. And he's like, well, that just means the odds, the fifth time, somebody probably ought to do it. So, I mean, the odds are in his favor that eventually you've got to break those odds. I mean, the fact is the stat was this and da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, so Rory's got, going back to it, Rory's got 70 yards left-ish. And again, I'm going to miss that because I was not in the golf cart staring at it when he hit it, but I saw the results of the shot, and there is 20 feet of room left of this flagstick. And he's not standing in a really bad spot. I still don't know how or what. He ended up right of the hole, catches the fringe, hops around, and goes back into the creek. So now he's 3 in, dropping 4. And he still has a problem because then he hits the next one up there for 5, and then still 2-putt, misses the next putt for 6-7. So say all that to go. The only other one, I'm going to back up and catch part of this in a second. So the only other one was the last putt on 18 in regulation, and I'm sitting there, and then somebody's like, "Oh, he's only got 3.5 feet. This is a no-brainer." And I'm like, "We're going to a playoff." And I'm just sitting there looking at it and go, This is Rory. This is the bane of Rory's existence: is short to mid-length putts that matter. And sure enough, and it's not an easy putt. So you go back, and the guys were talking about the last guy to make that putt to win the Masters was Mark O'Meara in 1998.
Well, 27 years for all of you doing math.
Yeah, and that's me starting to recall things too, because I mean, so they talked about O'Meara, and I just know O'Meara won it the year after Tiger won it, so that's how I know it was 1998. He's like the last guy to actually make that putt, because it looks like it's short and simple, but it's downhill, and it has a lot of snap. It's got a lot of turn in it right at the hole. And you either have to hit it hard and be committed to it, or you have to feed it outside the hole and let it break in. And he didn't feed it, and he didn't hit it very hard. So it just broke right off the hole, and he missed it low. And off we go. But going back to what I said is he never, other than after number 2, he never didn't have some share of the lead or have the lead on his own. So he went from 2 up to 1 down to 1 up to as many as 4 up, because he was at 13 and 9 was the biggest gap that I remember seeing between swings for me yesterday.
Well, at some point Rose went ahead for like a hole.
Okay, so
till he caught him.
That's right.
And then he went ahead of him again.
Right. So, yeah. Well,
so there was that brief moment.
And then there was the 3 of them, because Aberg was in there, so there were the 3 of them that were all tied there at 10 for a minute.
You know, the guy I was looking at.
Or Oberg. Sorry, it's Oberg.
When I was looking at this, chasing him down, okay, was the world's #1 player, and he just hung in, but never... I was thinking he was going to do the deal. And, you know, last year when you came on the show, you said he's going to have a kid. He's going to fall off a little bit. I mean...
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly where I was going to go. We talked about last year, I used the word heater. And, you know, these guys go on run, and they get on a hot streak, they get on a heater. And I told you last year, you know, his wife's pregnant and he's going to have a kid. This is probably the end of the wiggle room for him. So let's not miss the fact that he won 8 times last year. That's 8. And I watch a lot of obscure golf stuff that's not the mainstream stuff.
Tell his name, Michael.
What? Scotty Scheffler. So He won 8 times last year, including an Olympic gold medal. Let's not downplay any of this because all of those things are massive. I mean, he won a Masters, he won the Olympics, he won the Players. He's the first player to ever win the Players 2 years in a row, back to back. He won the 50th rendition of the Players Championship. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that Scotty did really, really, really well last year. But he also really, really, really had a kid last year in the middle of all that. And so it falls under, and I still say it falls under the Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, next guy. Every time one of these guys goes out, get married, have a kid, they go from golf guys where that's their life. You know, that's their job, that's their career, that's their life, that's what they do, to dad.
Husband and dad, yeah.
I mean, most of them are husband and still do that. It's dad. Because if you're just husband, wife gets to travel and do these things or stay home, depending on how she feels about it. They're going to somewhere really cool she wants to go. If they're not going anywhere cool like Illinois or Iowa, then maybe she's going to stay at home in Florida. But it's just when it becomes dad, it's different. It just doesn't work out the same. I mean, you've been through coaching. There was being married, and your road trips and things like that when you were just married.
I remember one time, I'll give you a quick story, Michael, since you brought that up. We're getting back from a road trip. It's 2 a.m.
Yep.
And my son Hayden, who's now a grown man, was maybe a year and a half old. And my wife looked at me and said, "He's yours."
Mm-hmm.
And when she said that to me, he began to vomit all over my suit that I had on.
At 1:30 in the morning.
At 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And, I was up until 4 o'clock that day. I get the dad part of it. And that but when do they get that back? Because these guys are still in their prime, Michael.
So, different strokes for different folks. Tiger tried not to miss much of a beat with his kids, but that's Tiger. We're not comparing everybody to Tiger.
There's exceptions to every rule.
There are exceptions to every rule. Clearly, Rory seems to have gotten it back, but his daughter's 4. So maybe they start going to school, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and they have some other commitments outside of you. That, they've got some distractions and they've got some things going on. It may be 10 years. It may be 12 years. I mean, you got Mickelson back in his prime. That's why Mickelson owned his own jet and got a pilot's license. Mickelson was playing events, and not all the time, but there were definite occasions. Mickelson would play his round during the day if he had a morning tee time. Go to the airport, get in his jet, fly to wherever it was where his kid was having a sporting event or doing something, be there for that, get back on the jet, fly back to the location, go to bed, get up and do it again and continue to play golf. So different strokes, different folks. Not everything's exactly the same. Not everybody's got their own jet and their own pilot does that stuff. But that is a story where Phil did that on multiple occasions. So, I mean, I think my personal opinion is that first 4 or 5 years is probably kind of a wash because, especially if it's the first child, because you're still trying to figure it out.
So let's finish talking about Rory. And my question is, how do they decide what hole to start on
That's all
on the playoff.
It's all predetermined. So 9 times out of 10, and it has changed at Augusta through the years. And it depends on how many cycles. Like Bubba Watson won one on the 10th hole in a playoff years ago. So they know what it's going to be, where it's going to be before the tournament starts. They've already decided all that. That's not something we're deciding on the fly. Here lately, it's been we're going to go back and we're going to play 18 at least a couple of times, and I haven't looked into it to see if they decided if they play 18 a couple times that then they're going to go to start playing 10 and 11 again and go back out. But it's almost always at the end because nobody's on the front 9 at this point because all golfers are through and they're on the back 9, so they're trying to
keep the crowd.
They're trying to keep the crowd. So 18 and 10 run kind of parallel to each other. So 18 and 10 is an easy conversation. So we get around. I guess we're going back to the Rory thing. We get around and Rory misses that putt, and I said I thought he was going to miss because that's his MO, is to do that. And so he misses the putt, and they go back, and they determine that Justin Rose was the first one to finish at the number, so he has the honors to tee off first in the playoff. And to tell you that they both hit what I consider to be a frozen rope on one of the hardest tee shots on the planet. I mean, you'd have thought that they weren't playing for the green jacket because they both stood up there like it was nothing. And both of them just roasted a drive right up the middle.
It's amazing to me the mental toughness of the elite golfers.
Yes.
And even they can come unhinged. I get that, Michael. But in this moment, those two guys hit 2 incredible tee shots.
Yeah, I don't know what happy place, Zen, garden, brain area that they went to before they hit that tee shot. I was in the golf cart with a buddy of mine who does radio out of Toledo, and he's like, I'd have had to be looking for a porta potty to change my pants. Like,
yeah, I mean, people don't understand, and my analogy is a lot of times the mental toughness to sit to a line and shoot a foul shot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot tougher than what people think. They think that 15 feet it's really difficult.
It's like, why can't you make? They should be making, every player should make 90%. You should make 9 out of 10 because you don't have anybody standing in front of you. You don't have anybody waving their arms at you. You don't have anybody in your face. It's just you and the hoop, and you should make all. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, but now you put, to me, for a putt, all the curves and reads and speed. There's so much more to me, and I think it's tougher than a 15-foot foul shot, Michael. I think a 4-foot putt on some. I mean, I've walked Augusta. Augusta's greens are just unbelievable.
Well, and we're talking about with basketball. We're talking about direct hand the ball to shot. We've got a whole extra 35 inches of an appendage here that you've got to stay square and not wiggle and shake and vibrate and do weird things with. That's part of this too. We're adding an extra variable into that. So yeah, I can tell you this, I felt much better about the playoff putt that Rory hit, but I wasn't sold on that deal either.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit fortunately for him, he hit a much better shot in the playoff than he did in the initial tournament round because he flared it off. It looked like 13 again with a longer club, but he looked like he did on 13 what he did on 18, and he just flared it off to the right into the bunker. But then in the playoff, it looked like the shot he hit on 15 from behind the trees, which no normal human's going to hit either. you know, he hits that shot on 15. After he makes double on 13, he gets through 14, gets to 15, and he's over to the left. He's behind the trees, and the only thing you can do is hit this big rope hook into this green that doesn't really want to catch a golf ball anyway, that he doubled the first day because he hit it too far over the green and then chipped it back into the pond. And he hits just this rope screaming 5-iron from nowhere that is one of the best shots that anybody could hit, and he hits it up there to 6 feet, which I can tell you that 6-footer is exactly the reason I didn't think he was making the first one on 18, because he missed it exactly the same way because he wasn't going to be aggressive enough with it. So he misses a 6-footer for eagle on 15 that should have all but put the thing away right there, and he missed that putt. And the one on 18 was almost the exact same putt. And I'm looking at it going, he missed the one on 15. This is not going to go well.
So to end it, Michael, the tradition is, again, like none other to me. Normal, you win British Open, they're handing you the trophy. There's no big kind of hoopla. Talk about the ending and all the pageantry of the Masters that's unique, and just not the green jacket. That's part of it, but sitting there with all of those guys with their green jacket on it.
Yeah, I mean, receiving the green jacket it's special, and if you don't know, that's not their jacket. Jacket still belongs to the club. So
they stay there, is what you're saying.
When you win a green jacket, you are given a green jacket that you get to wear when you visit, but it's not yours. It even has your name stitched in it, but it's not yours. Augusta owns it.
Something I didn't know.
Augusta owns the jacket. You have privileges to the jacket, but Augusta owns the jacket. There's been a grand total of maybe 2 or 3 jackets that have gotten away from the club that are not there, and they, by every legal opportunity that they can come up with, they've tried to get those back. And I know one went up for auction not too long ago, and it was expensive. My understanding is Gary Player's got one, but it's in South Africa, and he said, come get it. If you want it, come get it. So, but the green jacket, the player gets the green jacket at the ceremony. The player gets to have the green jacket for 1 year. The year that he's the champion, he can take it to do television interviews. He can take it. He can wear it at his favorite bar, back at his home club.
Come speak at the sneaker ball.
Sure. We getting Rory next year?
No.
Sweet. Wouldn't matter because he'd be after the Masters. We always do this after the Masters, so he would have given it up by then. We'd have to envision who's going to be the next Masters champion and get them before they got it, and then they could wear their green jacket. Sneaker ball.
That's kind of cool. So I don't know a lot of, like, I didn't know that. For 1 year, they get to wear it out, do a lot of promotion. Mm-hmm. Raise a lot of money probably too because of that green jacket.
They can, depending on what they're doing.
So it goes back to the club. What are some of the other, I think, uniqueness of not just the green jacket, but just
so the champion selects a menu for all the previous champions. So there's a champions dinner on Tuesday night. So all the previous champions come back, whether they're playing or not. Some of them are old, so they're not playing, but they still come back, and they do the champions dinner. So it's all the past champions that are alive. I think this year there was 2 or 3 that didn't make it. Clearly Tiger didn't make it because I don't think he's flying. I don't know that he's doing big pressure changes with airplanes with that Achilles. Yeah, you would know that more than I would.
Well, I mean, I wasn't playing. I was 50 years old.
No, but
hung it up.
I'm sure they told you to not do a lot with that.
They just told me that it was going to be 6 months before I was out of a boot or a cast, and you know.
I'm pretty sure they're telling him the same thing.
So
anyway,
there's so much more technology. There's stuff out there that they're laying on that Achilles to heal it quicker. But Brian's come back in. We're going to take our last break and finish up here with the Roundtable and Michael Osborne.
The Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department is going door to door asking for your help in the 2025 special census. The only information they will ask for is your street address, the number of residents living at that address, and their first and last names. That's it, and it only takes a couple of minutes to complete. Information gathered for the special census provides funds to improve our public safety division, and that benefits the entire community. You can also fill out the special census online at murfreesborocensus.com.
If you have a bowel blockage, get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Middle Point Landfill's Mike Klassen.
The next closest landfill for Middle Point right now is down in Lewisburg. The MTSU study estimated that's about $90 per ton of waste to get it there.
If we have to take our trash up the creek, that's a lot of travel without a paddle.
Only people that are going to be responsible for those costs are taxpayers.
The cost to take out the trash will trickle down to local residents and businesses.
You double the distance, you double the cost.
There's got to be a better way. The answer's here. That's Middle Point Landfill.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzier, president and founder of First Shot. Welcome in again. Longtime friend, Michael Osborne. Michael, if we only got a couple minutes left before we wrap this show up. Give us some things that a lot of people miss to the common man's eyes yesterday. Is there any, besides Rory's MO of kind of just missing it?
Well, it's just at the end of the day, it's still the mental chess. I mean, how many body blows are you going to take making double on 1, making double on 13, having Justin Rose run up out of nowhere to come get you, have Ludwig Oberg run up out of nowhere to come catch both of you, miss the 5-footer or whatever length that was on 18, and still go to a playoff and hit another shot that's probably one of the best shots of the day, comes off the slope back down. You tap it in to wear a green jacket, which we have not followed up with. He is now only the 6th player that has won all 4 majors. That happened yesterday. So he's now number 6.
On his 11th try.
On his 11th attempt, which has taken more than the rest of them did, but still one of 6. Ever.
I think, people don't understand, again, how daunting that is and the pressure that Rory faced every time he came to Augusta. I mean, I can't imagine what he felt. And then to kind of screw the pooch again on 18 when he could have put it away and not had to go and play again.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So how many body blows do you take? And that just tells you Rory today is more mentally hardened and tough than Rory 11. We've tried this 11 times. So 2011 was the last real chance he had.
Yep.
And so it's been 13 years. 14 years since he really had a shot at it.
And let's talk his age. He's just 35.
He's just 35.
I mean, you start talking about this, and you know, and all the great players that have played over the last 11 years, Michael. I mean, that's what people don't understand. There's
a laundry list of them.
Yeah. It's just not like he's not getting it done. There's others that just got it done.
So
it's their day, their week.
So now, I know we're running out of time, but I'm going to go down this road because they already went through it on Golf Channel last night. Now we have to talk about the natural slam, winning the Grand Slam in the same year. Rory's got the hard one out of the way because the PGA is at Quail Hollow, which he's won 4 out of 13 tournaments that have been played there. He's finished in the top 10, 9 out of 13 times that he's played at Quail Hollow. If he's going to win one, Quail Hollow is an easy walk around the golf course. Then you go to Oakmont, which is at a premium for a good driver of the ball, which Rory's hitting it as far farther and straighter than most anybody on tour right now. And then you finish with the British Open this year, or the Open Championship, the Open Championship, at Royal Portrush, where he once held the course record. So now that he's got the monkey
off his back.
Now the monkey's off his back. It's one of two things. Is the monkey now off his back and he takes his foot off the accelerator, or is now the monkey off his back and it now unlocks his ability to go do all of it? Because now it's not...
Who has done the natural?
Nobody. So we have a definition. The only definition of this we have what is the Tiger Slam, and that is not in the same calendar year. What it was, and actually, I know this because my wife brought it up last night, and I had to go back through it with her. Tiger did not win the 2000 Masters, but he did win the 2000 U.S. Open, British Open, PGA in that order, and then won the 2001 Masters following. So he's the only one that won all 4 majors in a consecutive run, even though it was outside the calendar year. So that is not the Grand Slam of golf. That is the Tiger Slam of golf, because he held all 4 trophies at the same time. And he's the only one that's done it.
It's still incredible when you think, though, Michael, to me, of all the great players that...
There's some good guys out there.
I mean, now you're putting Rory in a different discussion in his golf. You know, now that he is he holds all 4 and only one of 6. Name the other 5, Michael. We just named one, Tiger.
Hogan, you're going to have to give me some fingers here. Hogan, Sarazen, Snead, Nicholas.
That's the 6. When you go Rory, Tiger.
Nicholas. I thought Palmer was in there. I may have missed one because Palmer, I know it's 6. I'm pretty sure Arnold won all 4 of them too. So I missed one. One of the old guys is not in that list.
Hogan, you said.
Yeah.
Still pretty crazy, you know, to be in such an elite discussion. Michael, again, to put a cap on the Masters here for us and what to look forward to next. Who's the next? Who did you see that you really liked that you think's got a chance to make a run?
Oberg. Oberg's got to get a little older and take one or two more body blows and learn how not to make triple on the last hole.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming in on this Monday morning, and that's a wrap for the Roundtable and Andy Herger.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad.